Hey, what's going on?
Jim, how are you, man?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I can't call it. Thank you for this opportunity, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So first and foremost, man, let me tell you how I ran into you. So 2 years ago, after the release of Black Panther, I wanted to see some other reviews. Non-black reviews. Because us, we're blacks. We're pretty biased. Of course, we're gonna give Black Panther awesome reviews off top. But I wanted to hear, someone non-black give their honest opinion. So I clicked on your video. You were with your old creative partner at the time,
Right.
and I saw you set up in the background. I was like, oh wow, this is pretty thorough. So, cause I was waiting too. I'm gonna be honest. I was like, oh yeah, I hope he gives it a negative review. I'm ready to say something negative too. Like, oh no, he was actually pretty neutral about it.
Yeah, and you know what? The thing is, I'm not a negative person. Like, I enjoy the hobby, so anything that comes out comic related, I'm going to enjoy it. I usually like the worst movies. I usually like the new Hellboy movie, or what was another one, like Dark Phoenix. Like, I just enjoy comic book movies. But I also understood that Black Panther had a lot of more cultural significance than your typical comic book movie. You know what I'm saying? People grew up not having anyone they could look up to. All of a sudden, they have this, character that is, man, done so well, like with Wakanda and shown as royalty and just shown in such a good light, which I could understand the importance for sure.
Right on. So I know you probably get asked this a lot, but how did you get into comics?
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny because I remember seeing comic book characters prior to me getting into it, but what really sold it for me were the trading cards, and specifically the 1992 Marvel Masterpieces by Joe Jusko. Something about the realistic art style, because they're all painted portraits, or full body shots. Something about it just spoke to me, and I had to know more about the characters. And what was cool about those cards is that on the back, it would have their first appearance. Some of them, it would have their first cover appearance. So I was like, okay, man, I want to go find these comic books so I could read about these cool characters that I'm seeing in these cards. That led me to the comic book shop. That led me to getting trade paperbacks like Maximum Carnage and Death of Superman, and that's what really hooked me.
Okay. So let's get into the full interview. Okay, so with this new Dynamite Vampirella cover, how'd that come about?
Yeah, and thanks for bringing it up. I mean, that's really also why I'm trying to get out there as much as I can to do my press run. It's my first ever exclusive variant. I've always wanted to have an exclusive variant. I'm just the type of person that if I'm into something, I go all in. So it's like, I can't just be a fan of something, man. Like, I have to have the channel, I have to have my brand, I have to do comic books and statues and everything. So it's something I've always been interested in, but I didn't really like the idea of just commissioning random artwork or just using unpublished work and just slap my logo on it. I'm like, no. It's got to be like how Wizard magazine was back in the day, where like all the early issues, there was like a wizard hat somewhere on the cover, whether Spider-Man was wearing it or it was destroyed or whatever. So I was like, man, I want all my covers to have like a gem somewhere. So I have a great relationship with Dynamite, with Valiant, with Marvel. I still don't really know anyone from DC though, but
really?
Yeah, isn't that weird? I try to reach out.
I mean, you review their books or overview, whatever.
I think they recently went through like a reorganization a couple of times, and I think the people I had a back and forth with, maybe they're no longer there anymore. I don't know. It's been crazy over there lately. Yeah. And that was before the big layoff, so there was already a reorgan, like their collected editions department, which is kind of what I'm really into. Anyway. I think I just mentioned the idea to one of the guys at Dynamite, and they were like, yeah, we could do that, no problem. And then I was kind of like nervous to say, but look, I kind of want a gem to be on the cover somewhere. Like, I don't want it to sound like I'm trying to be, I don't know what the term, like narcissistic or something. Yeah. But they understood what I was coming from. I think they were the ones that were like, oh yeah, like Wizard magazine or something. I was like, just like that, So like they were all with it, and the trick is with licensing, so they own Vampirella outright, licensing. Like they can, you can do a cover of Vampirella like standing on one hand or something. Like it doesn't matter. But like the boys or like Red Sonja, they share licensing. So with those type of characters, other people have to approve it. So that's where I'm thinking maybe they won't hold a gem. Maybe it'll be in the background somewhere or something subtle, But
as long as your brand is brandished.
And I almost want it to be like, okay, if you're a fan of the channel, if you're down with gem and collectibles, like, you want it to feel like a Gem Mint exclusive, even if it's like some Where's Waldo type stuff where you got to find it in the rubble in the back. It's just like an Easter egg, you know?
Okay. So
That's
you
how
ever
it came
thought about
about.
writing comics?
I'm sorry?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. You said something.
No, I was just saying that's just how it came about. And I like the idea of crowdfunding because I don't sell comic books. I don't have a distribution network or anything. I wouldn't know how much to print. So it was kind of a good opportunity to like have them run the campaign and just have me out there trying to promote it.
No problem, no problem. And you're doing a damn good job.
All right, man, trying to get those numbers up.
Hey, man, hey, and congrats to you on your road to 100,000. I remember like you were at, I think I subscribed to you when you were at 45,000, I believe. No.
If you found me from Black Panther movie review, it had to be less than 30,000, a lot less. Mm-hmm. Because we didn't hit 30,000 until after San Diego Comic-Con 2019. Black Panther had already been out for months, I want to say. I don't remember the exact release date. But it's funny that's how you found me. I'm always interested how people find the channel, and that's why I'm not really scared to branch out and do different videos, because I always look at it like, even if it doesn't really perform well, you might grab 5-10 people and just keep on building up. Over 3 years, I think that's how we were fortunate to build up, almost 100,000 subscribers by kind of dipping into weekly issues, omnibus, statues, doing the random movie reviews or what have you. Yeah,
I meant to ask you about that. Put a pause on a question. Well, not necessarily put a pause, because I'm about to ask you a question. What happened to the movie reviews?
I don't think I'm good at movie reviews because I tend to like everything, and I always have a different opinion than the bigger movie guys, which is probably a good thing, but I don't know. You know what? Lately, I've been thinking about really focusing my channel. There's a lot of behind the scenes analytics that goes into YouTube, and I've been more numbers driven lately, and I'm starting to notice what works and what doesn't work. So I don't know. I don't know that maybe I should be all over the place. I think that if I honed in on one thing, like if I just did mainly the statue reviews, which are the best performing videos on the channel, maybe that would help me grow even more. So I don't know. I'm kind of tinkering with the analytics of it all.
It's your channel, man. But do you know that Kadeem Hardison from A Different World follows you?
Yeah, I talked to him.
Oh, for real?
that was a mind-blowing thing. It's like, what?
I went to your Instagram. I was like, what's Kadeem Hardison?
Well, it's cool because he's a statue collector. He's a comic collector. I wanted to get him on the channel to talk to him about comics and how he got into it. And first of all, I grew up with hip-hop. Like, it was a huge influence on my life. And I look at him, he's like one of the staples, even though he wasn't an artist. But, like, that's one of the TV shows that really influenced a generation. So, but he's a cool dude, man. It's so cool to see like people share the hobby that have a similar interest, especially that you would maybe not even thought of. Like people look at me all the time and be like, I'm surprised that you're into comics because I don't look like you're a quintessential comic book reader or whatever. But it's cool to see people from all walks of life. And I was like, wait a minute, Kadeem Hardison. Yeah, that's crazy, man.
So since we're on the subject of hip hop, per se, with the Black Panther coming up, I just got done watching a little bit of that Disney investor thing. So they just announced they're not recasting Black Panther.
Did they? Because I wasn't watching it. I clicked it when you sent me the link, and they were talking about like She-Hulk and I think Hawkeye before that. Mm-hmm. So they said they're not going to recast them. I think that's probably for the best. You don't need to recast T'Challa because if you're going to continue Black Panther, there's other Black Panthers like Shuri or somebody else, So I think that's probably the best way.
True, to honor Chadwick, but I mean, we've had a lot of Joker. They continued the character after Heath Ledger.
Yeah,
James Bond.
No, it's been done, man, for sure.
We had two Hulks in the MCU, Edward Norton and Mark Ruffalo, and even two Rhodys, Terrence Howard and now Don Cheadle. So I mean, it's very unfortunate what happened to Chadwick, but I mean, T'Challa has so many stories. That's like if they're doing it now, recasting Batman, Ben Affleck to Robert Pattinson. So
yeah, T'Challa had like the stuff with Namor that would have been crazy, and then what's crazy is that Black Panthers don't. I know. That's the. You know what? That was. I actually haven't even thought of that because that was going to be a big link in my mind from the mutants to the current MCU. Dang, that's crazy, man. You're right, and what I don't know. I mean, they could do stuff, but could they show him younger? Maybe I don't know. It sucks altogether.
Like they did Carrie Fisher in the last Star Wars movie.
Yeah, right, exactly. Or Han Solo, even, right?
Or even Han Solo.
Yeah. But then again, what sucks is that a lot of Black Panther stuff I think is later in life, not so much in his younger life, So like the marriage with Storm, like you said.
Yeah. And they also announced Fantastic Four.
Okay, well, we knew it was coming, but did they announce anything else with casting or whatever?
As far as casting goes, no. But the director of the Spider-Man, the new MCU Spider-Man, is directing it.
Who's the director? Who is the director?
Wasn't it John Watts?
Oh, okay.
He directed Far From Home and Homecoming.
Well, I'm not really a fan of those.
Bro, I know you better. I agree.
It's funny. And I always say I like every movie, but you know what I think? I really think I like bad movies because I love like Spider-Man 3 with Topher Grace's Venom and things like that. But I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. I think that's probably my favorite character, right? It changes sometimes, but like Venom, Spider-Man, that's my jam, you know? And like I just feel like the MCU movies, I don't know, they didn't hit the same as the first even Amazing Spider-Man or the first trilogy.
I love number 2 of the original trilogy.
Oh, I mean, that's probably arguably one of the best comic book movies of all time. But I do like the idea of them doing this Spider-Verse and bringing in Toby and Andrew and it's Alfred Molina, I think, played Dr. Octopus. I think that would be a great concept because, like, dude, this is like I think the 8th movie with Spider-Man in it. It's the 8th solo Spider-Man movie, and then he's been in other MCU movies. So it's like, dude, let's do something different already. And they kind of already did it with the post-credit scene with J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah, and that was a surprising move.
Yeah. He didn't look the same without the hair to me, though, man. I couldn't get out. It wasn't hitting for me.
I wish they would have kept the iconic look and also would have kept. Well, you know, they're trying to modernize it and make him like a Alex Jones-esque,
right,
Limbaugh kind of person. But I mean, it is what it is. My issue with the MCU Spidey is that I don't have a problem that he's a high schooler. I don't like the fact that they're trying to make him Iron Spider or Iron.
Right. So fast too, right? And like, so you're skipping over symbiote Spider-Man. You're skipping over a lot of things, and I don't like that the movies are so focused around like school trips. Like both movies were school trips. Like what? That just seems too like I don't know.
I'm looking for the term too. What grandiose? Like too coincidental. Right. Like it was going to trip. I know something bad's going to happen or something.
Yeah. It's just too cliche, I feel like. It's just
there you go.
Now the villains were done great. I mean, Michael Keaton as the Vulture was amazing. Then Mysterio was dope too. So, and I like how they teased multiverse, even though it wasn't real, but they're kind of still making that a thing, you know. So, I just don't like the Peter Parker aspects of it. Is what I think it is, man.
Yeah. Because other than that, this Spider-Man, I love what they're doing with him as far as the suit and his characteristics. Because that is Spidey, cracking jokes during the fight, just the storyline, like him needing a mentor. Because I believe in this one, Doctor Strange is going to be the mentor. Like, come on, man, Peter was like in the comics.
Well, I knew it was a problem the whole time when he was so much younger to this older MCU. Like in the comics. He's a kid, but the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, they just came out as well. But now it's like the end of these person's arc, and he just shows up now. So I feel like the timing is a little weird too.
Yeah. So what are your top 5 MCU movies?
Easily Iron Man and Avengers 1 are my favorite ones. And I don't know which one I like better. And I think Avengers was different if you watch them as they were coming out, because you got to understand it was the first time they put like 4 franchises together in one with Thor, Cap, Iron Man, and Hulk, right? So those are my favorite ones off top. I love Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one. So that's 3. What else do I really like?
Winter Soldier.
People say, I do like Winter Soldier, but a lot of people will put that as their number 1. But I like more of the epicness. Like I love Infinity War is up there, and I love Endgame, but I'm also a sucker for Age of Ultron, which I think a lot of people sleep on, but I really am a sucker for that movie. You weren't feeling that one?
Not really. I mean, it had its scenes, but I just felt like it was more so like a prelude to what's to come. It wasn't really like its own set in stone story. It was like what's the word I'm looking for?
Setting up more kind of world building. It
wasn't as cohesive as the original Avengers. So
got you. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I do think it had a lot of good visuals to it. I like Ultron's visual, although him cracking jokes was kind of weird. Although he's an AI created by Tony Stark. He's the snarkiest one out there, so it would make kind of sense. But I could see the faults in it. But yeah, I like those. That kind of like a top 6 there. But probably I probably like all the Avengers movies as my favorites, to be honest. When you see as many people on the screen as possible.
Especially, bro, I can tell you it was almost like a standing ovation when Cat said Avengers Assemble. That whole scene, all the Avengers coming together.
And we've been waiting for him to say that for like the whole 10 years. And I guess that's like those Avengers movies are the most comic book like. And then you can kind of throw Civil War in there too. But those feel like what comic books are, like multiple people on the screen, a lot of big fights, big battles. So I think that's why I like those the best.
So what's your gripe with the DC movies? Because every time I see you and Fee talk on the lives, y'all throwing because I have some friends that worked on a few of the movies, like
really,
Shazam, and what was the other one? Batman vs Superman.
So I like them all. You know, I like them. I just feel like they made a bad move to do Batman vs Superman. I think that felt rushed. And I think that they crammed too many different storylines into Batman vs Superman that they could have had the long play with Doomsday. They did Death of Superman. They had like almost like a Injustice in there as well. I feel like they tried too hard to copy Marvel's formula with the shared universe. It's kind of like really they just did that so well. You can't do the same thing. You got to be innovative. And I think they got that with movies like Shazam. Shazam and Aquaman kind of showed them that, man, you could do your own thing. You don't have to be Marvel.
Right.
I think they had to find that out the hard way.
Because I'm going to be honest with you, man, and I've said this on Twitter and the whole internet. Even some of my people agree, blacks. Aquaman was actually how I wanted Black Panther to be. How Black Panther is more adventurous. He's also a king, but he, sets sail and takes care of crimes. And this one was more political.
Yeah.
Black Panther was very political. I love the scenes and the commentary behind it, but I mean, like, it didn't have a lot of action, and that's what I was wanting with the sequel. But because of the unfortunate,
the thing I didn't like about Black Panther is the trope of the villain powers being the same as the hero's powers, kind of like Iron Man's guilty of it with Ironmonger. But I mean, Killmonger prior to the third act, I think he's one of the most sinister villains in the MCU. Maybe not sinister, but he's just badass. I love Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger. I just hated that it's a Black Panther versus a Black Panther at the end,
Bro, for years, even in high school, I always said that. I always hated heroes going against like clones, pretty much.
Abomination.
That's why I love Batman, Spidey, and even Disney villains. Because they're very sinister and they differentiate from the actual protagonist. So
yeah. although Venom is really that of Spider-Man, and I love Venom, but I feel like Venom is just such a cool costume design and backstory and everything.
Mm-hmm. So, did I ask you? Did you ever think about writing comics or starting your own company?
I've thought about it, but I'm not really a creative mind when it comes to that. I'm more of like an orchestrator. Like I would be better finding a writer and an artist and a publisher and giving it an idea and having them make it. Like that's kind of my skill set. But like the actual creative aspect of writing dialogue and stuff, I don't think I have it.
So you're the Stan Lee, or Barry Gordy, just
exactly. That's more of my role in this thing. Although there is a little bit of creativity that comes into making content on YouTube, but more so, I don't know. I'm more so showcasing something that another creative person made. Like if I'm reviewing a statue, I'm just showcasing cool stuff that I like, but somebody else created it. So it's kind of, I guess it is kind of the same.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's how your channel intrigued me.
All right, so there you go.
So what do you do, man, when you're not reviewing comics or showcasing upcoming books or live streaming?
So, I mean, a lot goes into behind the scenes of just making that happen. I mean, there's a lot of relationship building. There's a lot of planning and plotting and reading involved. I still have a 9-to-5 job that I've been fortunate enough to be able to work from home and do that during the day and then work on all my other stuff. I have a wife, Fee, like you mentioned. We have 2 daughters, so it's nonstop, man.
And I love your man cave. I said that earlier, man. If I had that now, my community, they'd be like, "Oh, you're so nerd." Like, bro, I love to reference back to that quote, 21 Jump Street. He was like, anime, comic books, veganism, all the shit that would have got me beat up in school is cool now.
Yeah. But what's funny, like, I grew up in the 90s, and a lot of my friends that, we all liked it as kids. It's just as you got older, and me too, when I was a teenager, I could care less about comic books. I just happened to come back to it as an adult where most of my friends didn't. But they see my stuff, and they're like, oh, yeah, man. They always hit me with the same thing. Remember, we used to collect the Silver Surfer cards, the shiny ones. What are those worth now? That's the big thing they always ask me. What's this worth? What's that worth? But my friends, they get it because we grew up with it.
Mm-hmm. Because I wasn't really, as you said, I wasn't when I got to my teens, I wasn't really a big comic fan like that. Granted, growing up, I wasn't really big on comics. I would read the funny papers and like the little. Do you remember the Disney Adventure magazines?
No, I don't really remember those.
You don't remember those? But anyways, they had like DuckTales, Aladdin, Lion King comics in the back of the magazines, and that was as far as I went as far as comics went. But when I got to college, there was like a comic shop across the street from the school. And I got intrigued because I seen a character, Black Panther, because he looked familiar from that game, Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Because that's really my introduction to all these Marvel characters. I mean, sure, I grew up on the X-Men cartoon in the 90s, the Spider-Man cartoon.
Didn't hit for you until the Ultimate Alliance?
Yeah. I was like, who are these guys? Like, oh, he's dope. Cage. Deadpool. He's dope.
Yeah.
And then from then on, I've been in love with all these comics, especially the indie stuff, like Image, Vertigo, Aftershock. You know the companies I'm talking to.
Course, yeah. And what's cool about the omnibus and the absolute format is they collect the best stories, and especially Vertigo, which is no longer a company, they'll collect Alan Moore's Swamp Thing or Hellraiser and stuff like that in that format. So I like how that format keeps that stuff alive.
Right on. And I got to ask you, because I wanted to ask my other guy too, Nearman. Do you guys take those on the plane and read?
I do. So obviously not in 2020, but like when I would go to Comic-Con 2018, 2019, I pick one and I read it on the plane. I read it, or I tell myself I'm going to read it at the hotel, but I end up I'm editing videos or whatever, or going out to grab food and stuff. But yeah, for sure, bring it on the plane. I mean, they're not that bad, especially like, maybe you don't want to grab a big one like Invisibles, but this is manageable. You can hold this, keep it in your carry-on backpack, bust it open when you're on the plane, and I look at it like that's part of the planning, because it's like, okay, man, but if I could finish this omnibus during the trip, by the time I get home, I could drop a review, then that video will be ready. And it's always kind of a thinking forward thing, because like Near Mint too, he drops 1 to 2 videos a day. So this is stuff that you record and edit videos, and you start like a stockpile of them, and then you schedule them out, and some things become time sensitive, and then those go out first, and it's a whole process.
Yeah, I bet. Because I always wanted to know, they take them heavy ass books on the plane, but to each their own. Because I collect, I want to get into omnibus, and I still can, but I'm more. What is this? The trade paperbacks, the epic collections, the complete collections, and stuff.
Yep, those are great too, man. And those you can bring those on the plane easy.
Yeah. And you're the one who got me into in-stock trades and what's the new one? Cheap graphic novels. Oh man,
bro! If it wasn't for in-stock trades, I wouldn't have this collection that you see. When I remember when I found out about it, I think I ordered something to make sure it was legit. Then I ordered something else, and then I ordered every absolute they had at once. I think I spent like $1,200, and I was thinking about it for like the whole time. I was like, man, I want to get all these absolutes, and they're cheap right now. Let me buy them while I can, because not only are they cover price at your local comic shop, God forbid it goes out of print and you got to buy it on eBay, then it goes over cover price. So I bought like every absolute at once for my third in-stock trades order.
Right on. Man, I wish I would have known you since college, man. Because
I would. And being a statue collector, man, we're always like, is there a site that sells statues like how In Stock and Cheap Graphic Novels sells omnibus? We need those 50% off statues, man.
And I got to get those for my man cave, future man cave too. But so off topic. Well, not really off topic, but you got a PS5?
I didn't. You know what? And I'm the type that if I got it, I wouldn't even play it. Like I buy games. Like I bought like Final Fantasy 15. I never played it. I don't know. I'm just not a big of a gamer, man, as I used to be.
Same here.
But I like it. Like I'll buy stuff.
Pictures and the Spider-Man cutscenes.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I was just playing the old school Marvel vs. Capcom. I bought the arcade one up. I was playing that right before this. So I do like to do the retro stuff still. But the new games, I don't know, man. I don't have a time for that anymore, especially doing the channel and all this.
That's the grown man speaking.
I'm getting too old for that video game stuff.
I was joking with someone earlier. One of my clients, I said the last system I had was Wii.
Wow, so you're not even trying anymore. My problem is I still buy it. I might play it the day I set it up, and I just give it to one of my kids or something, and they don't. My daughter collects them in her room, has all the systems that I bought and never play, and she don't play them either. It just kind of sits in there. She's into PC gaming now. I got her like a PC, and she does these games with her friends online. So
like what, Sims or
I don't even know. Now she plays some game. It looks like anime. It's pretty cool, man. I don't know what it is though, but she downloads them off Steam. She's into it.
Oh, okay. So before you go, I do gotta ask though. Let's see. I have a whole range of questions.
Go ahead, man. Whatever you got. I got some time.
All right. And I definitely appreciate this.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. Let's see a good one. And this is my first interview, so.
Oh, is it? I couldn't tell you.
And I saw the interview you had with the CEO of Dynamite, and he said that the first impression is always the best. You know, you never get a second chance at a first impression, and I love that.
I think you're doing good, man. I didn't know you probably interview people for real life or something.
Now we turn the interview on me. In 2009, I know you know Tyrese Gibson. He had a comic out called Mayhem. I did a video about it. You know, because there was a video about Lady Gaga or something that kind of intertwined into him doing that music video or whatever with him and Beyonce. And so I said, oh, yeah, he has a comic coming out called Mayhem. So he hits me on Twitter and said, hey, man, I want to talk to you. I was like, okay. So I gave him my number or whatever, my burner phone at the time.
This is Tyrese Jody?
So he calls me. I thought it was somebody playing on my phone. I didn't pick up. I didn't answer the first two times. So the third time I picked up the hello. And Tyrese was like, hey, man, don't ever hang up on me. Like, oh, man. Oh, shit. This is the real Tyrese. This is Jody. I don't want to piss off Jody. So we talked for 2 hours. He was a real cool dude because this is 2009. So Transformers 2 came out a couple weeks prior.
So he's got a huge life-size Transformer statue as well. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
The Bumblebee and the Optimus Prime.
Okay, yeah, exactly.
So he asked my opinion about Transformers 2. And Jim, you know, I don't sugarcoat my opinion, so I don't care if you're a celebrity or not. You know, I let them know, like, you know, those two robots, the mud flapping skids.
Oh, yeah, right. That's crazy.
They really sit right with me, you know, the racial undertones.
And that was kind of early on because it wasn't that heavy back then in 2009. You couldn't get away with that now.
No, bro. There's a whole list of movies that wouldn't even be made today, like Superbad, Soul Plane.
What did he say though? He probably agreed with you though. I would think.
Yeah, he did. And so that's why they were vetoed in the third movie and the franchise beyond. So
yeah, that was crazy.
Damn, Jim.
So did he see your comic book review or something? Is that how?
Yeah, and he wanted me to. You said what?
He liked the review.
Oh yeah, he loved it. And then he sent me the issues 2 and 3 signed.
Dang,
man. Yeah, I still have his number. I just haven't spoken to him in a minute.
Man, I felt bad he was going through it. What was that? Was that last year, the end of last year or something?
A couple years ago. What more do you want from me?
I felt that. I felt that because sometimes as a man, you feel like, man, you pay the bills, you're the breadwinner, and it's like you don't feel like that appreciation, man. It could kind of drive you crazy, man. So I felt bad for him at that time. It's tough out there, man.
Yeah, and I even hit him up on Twitter. I was like, hey, man, I'm praying for you, dude. And obviously he's a celebrity. He didn't respond back, but it's cool as long as I know that I put, my...
you got to put a good word out, right?
Yeah. So, Jim, I had a question for you, but you pretty much nailed it earlier about how you got into comics, and I'm just over here filibustering. But I really appreciate you, man, for doing this. Hopefully we can do this again next time because I see you like crossover. I just got into that. Because of you, I was like, let me check out this. Like that Donnie Cates, man, he's up and coming. You know, he's somebody to look out for.
For sure, Donnie Cates is the most exciting writer in comics right now, easily, especially superhero comics. I think Donnie Cates got that epicness down. Now, crossover doesn't really showcase that yet, but if you're reading like Thor, it's such a grand scale of comic book writing. But I think crossover is very interesting. And it seems like he's going to try to sneak in as many well-known characters without actually using them as possible. So I think it's going to be fun.
The last issue, the jail cell, they had all the arms like Spider-Man, Batman. I was like, oh, we know who that is. We know he can't do that because copyright issues. And
exactly. But what's cool is that it's on Image. So Todd's already lending Spawn to like the cover one of the variants for the next issue.
Right.
So I could see, Image will let him play in the sandbox with some characters from there. So Spawn being one of them. Maybe you'll see even Rick Grimes or somebody. Who knows? Yeah. But I don't know how the Image Skybound stuff works. I think it's a little different. But if he could get Invincible or something, that would be cool too. So we'll see what happens, man. He's a great writer.
I've seen Invincible cross over into a few comics. Like what's the dude that Savage Dragon and Spawn. Remember that Image United crossover event? That was actually my first introduction to that and Mayhem. Tyrese's comic were my introduction to Image. I was like, I never heard of them before. Like I heard of Spawn, the movie. We had the movie. I had the action figure, but I didn't know that he was part of this company.
Yeah, I didn't even know Tyrese had a comic book, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, Mayhem, man. You should check it out.
Dang, I gotta see.
They still have them.
I know. I was gonna say, man, you gotta look on eBay for those or something.
eBay or what's that mycomicshop.com or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Who's your favorite writer?
Donny Cates is up there, man. I like him. I really like Jeff Lemire. I think Jeff Lemire is the best suspense or I guess you would call suspense writer out there, man. I think the stuff that he's doing, Gideon Falls is a great book that's ending with the next issue, and I really liked him on Joker's Smile. He's got a lot of well-received things that I still haven't even read, like Sweet Tooth, and I have the books. I really got to crack those open because I really enjoy his writing. But I'm enjoying him. I'm enjoying James Tynion IV, Scott Snyder. Mm-hmm. A lot of great writers right now.
What about Jeff Johns? Jeff
Johns is one of the best. Yeah, man. The Three Jokers was great. His Green Lantern run is one of the best DC epics out there, especially with the Blackest Night crossover. So yeah, for sure, Jeff Johns.
That was my introduction to Jeff Johns, the Blackest Night.
Yeah, a lot of people's. That really brought a lot of people into Green Lantern, man.
Mm-hmm. It sucks what's going on with him and Ray Fisher right now, though, because Jim, I gotta bring race into it. I gotta stick with my people, but I love Jeff Johns' work. It's like I'm in the middle, like, oh dang, I don't want to be.
I try to be as unbiased as possible, and on the outside looking in, it seems like Ray is kind of making these kind of complaints. Maybe he felt that. Maybe that's how he felt, but it just feels like, man, this is an actor that was being difficult. That's how it feels to me. Because I don't know, man. It just seems like the accusations don't really seem as strong for the response he's giving them. But again, you'll never know how you feel unless you're in that person's shoes. But it does suck though when you're a fan of two people and this thing's going on, right? Because even Joss Whedon, like I told you, my two favorite movies, Iron Man and Avengers. Avengers 1. Is like one of the best comic book movies of all time. So it's kind of like, dang, I rock with Joss Whedon, so.
It's like, damn, man, it's like you put me between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, sometimes you got to try to enjoy art without really being too invested into the person,
That's how I feel about Walt Disney and R. Kelly, because Walt Disney was an alleged, racist, so to speak. But damn it, bro, I love the theme parks. I love the movies.
I'll tell you right now, man, I'm listening to R. Kelly and Michael Jackson and all that shit in the car. So, I mean, a lot of it, it's a lot of allegations too, man. Like the Michael Jackson thing. It's like, yeah, maybe dude could have not put himself in certain positions, but it's like, man, you don't really know what happened. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, he still did Thriller.
His niece Brandy and his nephew Taj, they followed me on Instagram because I had an avocation, when that documentary came out. Like, man, because. The stories just don't add up, bro. Like, I didn't even see the documentary because I'm a huge Michael fan since birth or prior to birth. My mom was a Michael Jackson fan, but not to get too political, but the Brandy dated Wade, one of the accusers, and Wade was introduced to Brandy via Michael. So I think he was just salty because he got turned down to direct that Cirque du Soleil Michael themed show and go after the estate with this bitch shit. So.
It's tough, man, because our society is a society that loves to build up and we love to take you down. So it's kind of like every rich, famous person has been drugged at one point in time. Even Robert Downey Jr. had a low point in his life. He bounced back later on in life, and he bounced back hard as hell. Mm-hmm. It's tough, man. I guess, you know, you got to, like I said, they put out art and we consume it, but that doesn't mean we have to be invested in their personal life or even support things they do. Like, I can enjoy somebody who has different political views or whatever. Like, I don't really, you know, I understand you like that. Right. That's not really why I rock with you. I rock with you because I like your music or your art or your TV shows or whatever. So I guess, you know, because otherwise, man, you're on Twitter. I hear you say Twitter a lot. Man, any wrong move, you're finished on Twitter world. So it's like,
I put it like this, bro, so to speak. I am finished on Twitter. I got banned last year because some dude threatened my church. Well, he said he'll take care of my church, but I know what that was code for. So I said, bro, if you do that, your family will find your body in pieces. 2 hours later, I get an email from Twitter saying, oh, yeah, you violated the policy terms. And like, oh, okay.
If you look at my Twitter, I don't follow anyone. I don't want to feed. I just want to promote what I got going on. And that's it, man, because you can get caught up in that internet world, man.
I feel bad that I took the bait. And, you know, I do miss my Twitter, not to be a lot on that hard stuff. Like, yeah, fuck Twitter, this, that. Like, now I kind of miss it because I had like 1,000 and something fans, and you know,
it sucks, man.
Well, other than that, Jim, I definitely appreciate you, brother, for doing this. This is like my first interview.
Yeah.
Continue to chat beyond this. If you have anything to promote, or if you want to just talk about anything, you know, feel free to hit me up.
Sure.
I would love to join you. I see you in chat rooms with other comic book reviewers and YouTubers. I'd love to be a part of, you know, those groups because I feel like I'm the outcast. I hit up near Mint and bro, I can show you all the DMs, not to sound like a stalker or anything, but like, hey, bro, you ever thought about going live on your fans? He's seen it, he read it, like, oh, ain't this some shit?
It's hard, man. We get hit up a lot, as you can imagine, but you know, I put it out there that I was looking to really, you know, get out there to really promote this variant, and I feel like, you know, I was coming up on YouTube. Nobody bigger than me ever reached out to me, ever showed love, none of that, except for one, and that was recently, right? So I always looked at it like, now that I'm in a position, I love to pop in on channels that have live shows going on, say what's up. You know, I know it probably makes them feel like, oh, damn, Jem Mint came through or whatever. So I love to do that and to give you guys a platform too, because it's hard out here on this YouTube game. Even some people look at me like, oh, you got this big channel. Man, I stress every day about performance and content, and it's never easier, you know, no matter how it may look on the outside. So I feel you, you know, and at the end of the day, we all love the hobby and we all enjoy the stories of the characters. So we're all here to celebrate it, you know?
That's what's up, man. That's true. So Jim, with that being said, thank you, brother. And good luck on the rest of your career, man. And
yeah, man, we'll be there, you know. Drop me a line every now and then. Check up on me. I'll do the same if I see you post something, or I'll try to jump in on one of your lives as well, man. So definitely appreciate you reaching out.
Thank you, man.
All right, have a good night.
You too, man.
Peace.
Boom.